Okay. We are gonna see how this works. Okay, one of them connected. That's good. Is this one gonna work? I don't know if it connected. It's weird that the other one didn't connect. So if we have to jerry rig this, we will. Hang on. Good question. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna disconnect this and reopen it. Allow. That's fine. Oh, wow. That's really bad. Shit. Alright, hang on. I'll be right back. How do I even... There's so many things wrong with this right now. I've been having so many computer problems. Here's what I'll do. I'll allow. I'm going to turn off TTS. I'm going to let it run my program here, which is the main thing that I need it to do. And then we're going to use the other one. There's that. Activate. Let's make sure this works. Alright, perfect. And then we're going to go here. Docs. New chat. And then I've got my other window so you can keep an eye on things. And then that should work. Hey, let's hope. Thanks for the 2. Have you ever gotten a car with massive subwoofers? If there's something in the way that prevents you from getting the job done, that thing has to be removed. I've definitely tinted a car with like a Suburban that had a full set, but it had just enough space for me to actually get in there. Otherwise, there's just like no practical way around it. Thank you for the 2, though. If there's more specific that you can, more context that you can give me with the situation that you're dealing with, I can definitely help. Hello. So we are using GeoShield Apex. This is their 15. I am tinting this full Civic. United? I feel like these are bot questions. I've had that exact comment like over and over a couple times recently. Yes, I've heard. They're just doing a lot of ads. It's not anything special. How long? How long does it take? Um, Start to finish, on all the sides of the rear, on most vehicles, I'm going to aim for up to 2 hours. Add an extra half hour, 45 minutes on for a windshield. But streaming, lollygagging, all that's going to add some additional time. Where if I was just 100% focused on the car, we generally go a little faster than that. Would you sand the dot matrix on certain vehicles? No. No, I don't believe in using sandpaper on cars. It introduces grit, introduces other issues. It's not that you can't use it. It's just I tend to not want to. Thanks for the 2. My dad had to get his, and they turned it down. Oh, they turned on a car that had subwoofers. I see. You didn't have to super chat again. Thank you, though. If they were, the only thing I can think of is they were in the way somehow. But like, more context with this kind of stuff really helps. Was it an SUV? Was there a box in the way? Were they in the trunk? Was there a bunch of wiring? All that stuff makes a pretty big difference, and it goes from like, I'm not sure, to, oh, your audio sounds weird. Why? Dude, I just can't win today. Thank you for letting me know, though. I'll try and fix it real quick. I was gonna go buy a mic set yesterday. The thing is, I have a good one on right now. It's just been around for a little while. All right. It's probably just old now. I don't know. What's left to say? There. We're using the other mic now. So it's either the distance in between it, or there's other fucky stuff going on that I'm honestly not sure of right now. Let's grab some razor blades, put those in my pocket. Better? Okay, good. Thank you. I'm gonna replace my my microphone. This is gonna be man, I had so much time, and then I quickly like burned more than I had. It's kind of frustrating because there's lots of stuff that I want to build to go along with the stream. A lot of background improvements that I'm trying to make. But it's very hard to quality control all that stuff before I go live. So I need more time. I honestly need to just go live without anything in front of me. Just have a boring troubleshooting stream. But I was building some other stuff alongside it, so here we are. That's a little close. There we go. All right. So we are going to two-stage this one if I have all my tools. Let me go grab that. Pretty quick to bottom load. Yes, I am less familiar with that. Just need to grab a couple things. All of them?
Not all, but...
Oh my god. Shit.
So, I don't know. I'll put them back, or maybe you can, like, get some... You know.
We have more. Was that what came today?
Yeah.
Shit. Well, I know more are ordered. It's just they're gonna be here later. I don't know. I don't know what to do with that yet.
I'll figure it out, but, what's making me think now about when I send them out? If you're getting your people, you know, explore it.
Well, we tape the boxes,
Okay.
so they should like show up fine. But she'll go through and put a little piece of tape on each box to make sure that they don't do that. But out of the box, they weren't supposed to do that. So, I don't know. All right, so we are going to install this door window. I'm using OptiGlide on all the edges. So we're gonna two-stage. First step is I wanna make sure that the long edge is up on the window. It's just gonna make it a little bit easier. We're gonna go over the shorter edge here. I'm gonna roll in the film just like I did on the other side, kind of flatten it out, and then tweak it over. You need to make sure that it's folded inwards enough so it clears plastic and any obstructions. Line up this top. Wow, he wasn't kidding. This is a really good pattern. Nice job, Core. This looks fantastic. Then we're gonna take a softer squeegee and start tacking it in place, spreading out the film, and making sure we kind of fine tune where this is gonna line up. Right like that. Looks good. Then we're gonna take a bit of a harder squeegee. Squeegee out the sides. What program? So we're using Core right now. I typically hand cut everything, except for the doors. But decided to, you know, mix it up a little bit today. If I feel the pattern is sliding after I press it down a couple times, that's where I'm gonna heat the corners. And just make sure there we go. Make sure that it just doesn't want to move. That's the main thing. Because if it wants to move, when you roll it up, it's going to push against the seal. And guess what? It's going to move. Then we're going to pull the liner. Rinse out underneath it. Tuck one side. Pull this back. Tuck this other side. Just get it into the seal. It's just started, doesn't have to be down very far, because then we've got this middle portion. We're gonna work this across. Tuck, 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 tuck. And there we go. Then we're gonna squeegee out the rest. Is that the same keg that's on your website? Yes. The hose is 25 to 30 feet. I forgot offhand exactly how much it is. We're gonna wipe it off, check it over, see if there's anything we need to push out. That looks good. I like it. That one's done. Time to tint the next ones. I have a tint appointment in 2 weeks. Would you go carbon or ceramic? That's up to you. Carbon, it can be a great film. It's really the type of performance that you care about. That's why I can't make the decision for you. So ceramic's just gonna block more heat, especially in lighter shades. Carbon blocks some heat, but it looks just as good. If you go with a good carbon or a good ceramic, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference which one you went with just by looking at it. You'd feel the difference though. So personally, I do ceramic on all my cars. It's one of those things that, especially once you start living with it, it's hard not to get it again. You just notice that heat cutting through your glass. That's why ceramic is so like repurchased. Once somebody has it, they always get it again. Personally, that's what's given me a lot of confidence to sell it. It does help to keep your car cool, but not necessarily like insulation. Well, in a way, it's like it. What it does, it's like that's a simple way of saying it, but it can be misleading to some people that leave their car sitting outside in the sun, and they expect their car to just feel cooler when they jump inside. What it really does is prevent the heat from just passing through the glass. Some of that heat is going to dissipate off the car. Some of it's going to continue to radiate inside the car. The car's still going to get hot. However, when you are maintaining the interior temperature with air conditioning, you pull it out of a garage, you just don't feel that sun cutting through the same way that you did without it. That's why when people get it, and then they get a new car, they immediately notice the sun feels really irritating, and they were used to not feeling that anymore. So a lot of people end up just rebuying it on a new car. What was it like opening up your first shop? Well, this is my first shop. I treated it like a mobile account. It was nerve-wracking when I was going to put a security deposit on it. I didn't know if it was going to work out.
No, I leave it like this here. Just fold it. You can just fold it.
I started in a home garage. City didn't like that. Got a couple notices to stop. And so things were going pretty good, so I just had to find something. And I didn't want it to be super far away. But I originally didn't want to shop. So I would do tinting from home a few days a week. I had a few mobile accounts that I would go out to. So like a glass accessory, or a glass shop, an accessory shop. And I would tint for them. And so when I was trying to get this place off the ground, I treated it like a mobile account. So I opened up, of course there's not going to be immediately customers knocking at your door, walking in, not unless you're just like perfect place, a lot of advertising ahead of time or something like that, like drum up grand opening excitement or something like that. No, I just opened it. I'm around the back corner. We hardly have people walk in here anyways. But we have a lot of people call and schedule appointments. That's just kind of how we do things. But I was very nervous when I first opened it up. But I would set up appointments here a couple days a week. So I was still doing mobile, making enough money to make sure everything was covered. And then I was building a little more momentum for this place. So that way it wasn't just scary, open up, wait for business. If nobody shows up, well, guess I'm out of business. I still had a way to cover bills. I still had a skill that I could put to use. That looks better. All right, so I've got 3 patterns ready to shrink. We're just gonna go through and snap shrink each one of them. And first one is done. Let's go around to the driver's side, do the other 2. So in order to snap shrink, I lay out my windows like this. A little bit of water behind them, slightly squeegeed. I pick up the pattern, just lift it off the bottom edge. It's always still anchored on the front. I never lift it off completely. And I'm just looking for this slight curl inward. So when I heat it up, it pulls. And then that's shrunk. So if your heat gun's off, it looks like this. We got some fingers. I pull. See how it's still clung right here? Then I turn on the heat gun. I let it heat up. Just gradually moving the heat gun until you see it pulling inwards. And then at that point, move back and forth a little bit. There you go. Those are all shrunk. The majority of doors don't need a ton of shrinking, but you want just this little like tension here. So when you put it down, it's flat and it just kind of stays. That's how I snap shrink. Razor blade, towel, door cover. I think that one's old. Let's grab a towel. Oh, there we go. For the GraphTech plotter, what add-ons? I don't have any add-ons on my GraphTech. It's just set up as is. I don't even think I have a static strip on it, honestly. Can I get a free tri-edge? Sure. But you have to place an order and then just put it in the notes. Matt said on stream that I could get a free tri-edge and then we'll send one with your order. All right, so we're gonna clean off this window. Just 1-inch razor blade. There we go. That's just making sure anything that's potentially stuck is unstuck. We're gonna take a light squeegee, go over the top, overlapping strokes down to the bottom. Take a card, swipe the edges, and now that's clean, ready to install. Little OptiGlide, never hurt anybody. I've been playing around with spraying it first and then spraying slip solution, or spraying it with slip solution and then hitting it. It doesn't seem to matter which order you do. It still clings really well. Peel our pattern in half. Now we're gonna install it. We'll get the long side on the glass first. And go over to the shorter side. Line that corner up. It's looking good. Then we're gonna start tacking. Is the keg sprayer worth it versus a normal spray bottle? Yeah, absolutely. But I tend to go a little bit more spray heavy. I use spraying as also a way of cleaning, and I hate it's just too slow. I'll tint windows from time to time with the spray bottle. So if I have a couple doors and that's all I have to do, then I don't need to set up a keg. Just grab a spray bottle, fill it up, and you're ready to go. Easy peasy. But with spray bottle or with a keg, it's spraying on demand. It's for volume, and it just helps you move a little bit faster. But everybody's got their preferences. Some people like them. Most people, I think, like them. And then there's a handful of people that, nah, I've tried it, don't really like it. Tend to go with the spray bottle. But if you've been tinting a lot, I think they're well worth the investment. They last for friggin' ever. Isn't the keg like 500? No, this one's like the full setup is like 380. That's setup, brass sprayer, longer hose, flexible hose, better fittings, so when you pull off the quick release, it doesn't just start spraying water everywhere. Upgraded air release too to 100 psi. So you can DIY all that yourself. Just look up some guides. It's a corny keg. It's just going through and figuring out all the attachment filters, or sorry, the little fittings. Just don't get scammed off of Marketplace. That was one of the things in the groups that people are like, I got one for sale for $100. That's a fucking scam. So careful on those. But the kegs themselves are stainless steel corny kegs. They're just like all set up, ready to go for like tinting, and you can find them for detailing and whatnot. So you can save some money.
So like the only other tips, I guess I would say, so you're good, when you're tucking in the bottom, try to kind of treat this as sort of two different sections here. It'll be kind of let us go back.
Dual action trigger sprayers. I have some Obsessed Garage bottles. I haven't tried too many, but I got some Pressol Obsessed Garage bottles that are kind of cool. They got a nice mist to them. I tend to want a little more volume though. So like they're detailing bottles that were made for misting chemicals and not so much spraying a little extra water. But they work good. I like them too. Spray bottles is one of those things that like I only used, or honestly, I haven't really used a trigger sprayer. From the very beginning, I used a Poly 2. I used pump spray bottles. And pump spray bottles are annoying to just constantly pump up. But they spray a little extra water, and it's what I was taught with. And then from there, I went to a keg sprayer. So I never really liked the trigger sprayers personally, but they work fine. Ooh, let's put this around here. Dual action spray bottle. Very first time I dropped it. Damn. That sucks so much. How much do you charge? It varies depending on the film you go with and how much vehicle that you're tinting. They went for our most expensive option. We're doing Apex on everything with the windshield. It's $650. If they went with carbon, it'd be $450. C2 we do for $550. So another question about snap shrinking too is how do I know I shrunk it enough? See these little guys? I should have just gone a little bit farther at the bottom. It needs to be a little bit tighter. So I can snap it again. I can shrink the individual fingers. The problem with snap shrinking is if you shrink too much. And then there's so much tension, you just can't get the window to lay flat. It wants to spring back at you. So if you do this, and then you go to push it down, and it just wants to, like, it's really hard to, like, it should be easier to flatten it out.
The best place to start is definitely up here. I think you have the right approach with that bench. Just move this. This can be moved up a little bit closer to you. So like where I would set up this bench, would be like right up against the car.
Have you thought about cordless heat guns? Cordless heat guns, they don't get hot enough. Batteries don't have enough power. A cheap heat gun works far better because wall outlets. A good portable heat gun is a torch, which has a lot of energy behind it. Do you know average material cost? Generally between 35 and like $60. I'm in Michigan. This is Detroit Tint Studio. All right, so now we gotta install. Gonna scrape that, make sure everything is loose. Wipe off the top edge. Civic's interesting because you just don't have very much room on the front edge there. How many cars can you do in a day? It's really how many cars do I want to do in a day? I've allowed myself to go slower, but at a brisk pace. Sides and rears within a couple hours. And then add another 30, 45 minutes for a windshield. That's what I would shoot for. That's lots of practice, getting your install technique. Everything just becomes muscle memory. Portable kegs? The 3-gallon keg, I think, is extremely portable. I carried it around mobile for the entire time I was mobile. Like, they were great. If you wanted to, you could do 100 cars in a day. I didn't say that. I said I plan on 2 hours for all the sides and the rear, and an extra half hour, 45 minutes for a windshield if I'm not like streaming. If I'm streaming, generally full car is done within 3 hours, and an extra like hour for a windshield that's like as slow as I go. Oh, that was that chime. It just shut off. What's a decent price? Decent. It's gonna vary by what you can afford. That's so open to whatever your income is and what you feel like spending. An average for a full car with a nicer ceramic, dude, I don't know. I have no idea. In a nicer area, you're gonna pay over $500. In a cheaper area, you're gonna have somebody do it for $200. And that's gonna be with some sketchy ass film. So it's never, people focus on price and material type so much, and unfortunately that's what we always have to sell by. Somewhat, you try and make it less about material and more about like where you're going to, because really, in window tinting, material cost is fairly low, but you have a lot of extra costs, the biggest one being your time. So a car is going to take, let's just say, 3 hours. If you're only charging $200 for that, it's not bad for just an individual making some money. But it's very hard to grow a business off of that. Any tips for starting a home garage? I've got a lot of videos. My early streams back in 2019 or 2020? 2019 and 2020. I've had a channel forever. But if you go back to 2019 and 2020, you'll see that whole tinting from a garage. There's no reason you can't make a home garage look super good. We had this raised deck flooring in it. I painted the walls. I added lighting. I just tried to make it look as nice as I possibly could. It's just it's a box. Same thing for this shop. It's a box. And then you can put a lot of effort dressing it up, make it look good. But I think that goes a longer way in a home garage because somebody's going to see you're in a home garage and then question, like, I don't know about going to a dude in his garage. But then if they, like, the pictures that they see are like, oh shit, this is like a dude in his garage. This is exclusive. Like, you're trying to make it feel special. That can help. Is that legal, Tint? Yeah, with a doctor's note. Unless I grabbed the box of illegal tint. There were 2 boxes. One of them said legal and one of them said illegal. I might have grabbed the illegal box. Yeah, that's what I bought those for, but it's just security cameras right now. I have a little camera that I'm wearing right now. Why don't people have white tint? There's a frost that you can get, but you can't see through it. I'm thinking. Like, there are colored films. There's chameleon films. I'm trying to think of what you could do to, like, add a white coloring to, like, a clear. I don't think that would turn out. I don't think that's the way it would turn out in your head. I think it's got to be non-transparent if it's like that. So, like, a frost. Definitely a thing. But for, like, commercial buildings and stuff. Make sure this is lined up as close as possible without going over. Pretty nice patterns on this. Really wasn't kidding. That's good. So I'm gonna heat this up just a little bit more. It's still shifting. Is there film that replicates the Mercedes glass? I don't think SolarGuard sells it anymore, but they were ones that literally had a Mercedes blue, and it wasn't like the same, but it had that kind of vibe to it. You're really looking for some type of a light chameleon film. I don't have anything to recommend you though.
Yeah, actually touch it, see if it sticks to your finger. It doesn't stick to your finger.
There, that's better. Everything looks a little bit more packed down. So after this, we got a back window, we got a full windshield. How much would you charge for C2 carbon and C2 ceramic if you were starting today? Well, good news for you is I started with C2 carbon Pro Classic and Pro Nano. C2 carbon was my mid, and I was selling that for $350 without a windshield and $550 with a windshield. I was still like, my pricing is very similar to like when I started in 2020 with this. I've been tinting longer, but like when I had my own place, I started like, I did pricing a little bit lower. And then what I learned very early is if you give people a deal or discount or break, they appreciate it, but they'll still keep coming back if you did good work at those prices. So it's very hard to slowly up your prices. Kind of got to just make a sudden changeover and just realize any customer that you get at a particular price is going to want to get that price again, because it's you know, you can say, well, prices went up, material costs, blah blah blah. They don't care. They just want the same deal. Man, I was one of your early guys. I was one of the first. Ta-da! Looks good. I like it. Now we can turn off the car. About a rope directly from Geo, and it looks small and thin. Are they all like that? No. No, I don't know what they're selling right now, honestly. For ropes, I know ropes can be a little bit of a interesting. Yeah, it's not gonna work on that one. We're just gonna have to wedge something in between there and work around it. It's not a big deal. I could take it off, but I just don't feel like it. Scrub it and squeegee. Where'd my other towels go? Let me grab one. $250, no windshield. C2 carbon is fair in Dearborn with windshield. Well, if you Oh, okay. He can definitely guide you through doing the sunroof. $250 no windshield, C2 carbon. $350 with a windshield. Well, if you called over here, that'd be $299 without the windshield, and then with the windshield, $450. Seems pretty fair. But the thing everybody has wrong when they're shopping around for a service is, what material am I getting for my money? And most of that is zero consideration for where they're actually bringing it to. They want to pay zero for labor. It's all about just ending up with a perfect job and a perfect product. When in reality, most contract services are not about just the materials. More you pay, obviously you're gonna get a good material, but it's having somebody that knows what the hell they're doing, because you can easily end up with scratches, imperfection, creases, hairs, a whole bunch of stuff that you're not gonna like. But you got the deal that you were looking for. Why doesn't it look like everybody else's? So there's a bunch of people that just don't care. It's all about volume. When you have cheaper prices, it's all about volume and getting your car in and getting it back out. Some people don't notice those problems. Some people lesson learned, and then they stop going to places like that. You get what you pay for. I got bubbles and lint in the windows. Should I demand a refund? Well, you definitely want to bring it to their concern. Let them know. See if they're actually going to resolve it. Give them a chance and then see what happens. I wouldn't go in and just demand anything right away. It's literally like, hey, like, be a person. I've got a problem with the work. Can we go look at it and talk about it? I'm just not happy with this. I thought it'd look better. Some places are really, really cool. Some places will just brush you off because that's just how they are. There's a little bit of adhesive, like tape marks all over this back window, so I'm making sure those are scrubbed off first. Seems pretty good. Let me sweep it off one more time and check it over. I also want to change out the squeegee blade. It's got a couple nicks in it that I don't like. Let's put this one back in it. Why not attach soak ropes to the towels? There's a couple that are. It's just quality control. Sometimes the ropes are just like not very good. So like there's a couple of Chinese ones that exist. $400 is robbery to some. I looked at a pack of light bulbs and it was $30, and I'm like, that's robbery. I haven't looked at light bulbs in a while though, so I'm kind of out of touch. This is in a Meyer. All right, this is looking good. I'm gonna scrub it one more time just to be sure, because I saw a bunch of tape marks here. I don't see him anymore. But I don't want to find out that I could have pushed a little bit harder somewhere. It was just a standard like 60 watt LED light bulb for like a lamp. That's what floored me. I was in a mire, dude. That's like being in a slightly nicer Walmart. Getting some groceries, and then I was like, oh yeah, light bulb. And I walked over there, and I was like, oh, what the fuck? Light bulbs are that right now? When did that happen? Do you sharpen squeegees when they get dull? I have a way of doing it. I'm a tool store, so I often just right now grab a new one. But I'd put it in a vise and shave off a sliver. But we have a store, so find out when I'm in the middle of a job, and then oh shit, it warned me. Hang on, guys. I did get the warning. I ignore the warning. I don't know why. I gotta start up my camera one more time. So bear with me. Screen went black, I know. So is this making clips? Connecting, it's connecting, it's connecting. Ray-Bans don't stream. That's why we don't use the Ray-Bans. We need streaming camera to stream. Also, they'd have a worse battery life than what I'm using, so.
You can't run a live stream from your Ray-Bans?
Nope. Nope, cannot. I think we've been getting clips. We've been getting clips. Oh, that's so cool. Alright, it's still connecting. Give it a second. Like, literally had to start it from the dead. Start. You click start. You connect. You do this. You jump through a bunch of hoops.
You forgot to put the glass 8 on before you did the dryer sheet.
Then you start to the center.
I'm actually plotter cutting the back window today. So hang on. Yeah, this should work. Hang on. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Got it. Okay. But you guys are right. I typically do that. So today we're gonna grab this back window. We're gonna click on. Oh yeah, it does go around. And we're gonna grab that. We could click on it again. We could click on it again. Do we need that many? No.
Green Lantern? Oh, the pizza? I didn't know. You know, there's a whole superhero called Green Lantern. I didn't know what you were talking about.
I said dinner.
Let's just throw that.
Oh, sorry, I messed up. Yeah, I've had Green Lantern before.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, they're just kind of.
We can have a sip of coffee while we're waiting.
I usually just do Domino's.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put a bunch of quarter windows, And I'm gonna leave it at like 100 speed, and I'm just gonna let this thing go. The speed's at like 50. Sorry, it's tinner enjoyment. Only people that have plotters and have seen them run in tint probably think it's funny.
But I'm too really like pack on like a ton of muscle, so I just stay pretty lean. I've run for probably like a decade now.
You ever tried Pilates?
Yeah, I've done yoga and Pilates before. I kind of want to get back into doing yoga. I was going to classes with my sister for a while, but one of my sisters moved out of state, so we just haven't been doing it. But it was really nice just the way.
So we're gonna trim around.
Oh, sir. Oh.
There we go. All right, now we got a pattern. We're gonna drag this over here. Back glass is dried. That's good. Just lay that on top. Now, oh, you know what? We don't have to. We can, but we don't necessarily have to. There's not a lot of curve at this bottom part. It's the easy, it's super easy compared to the older ones. Well, previous, not old, not even old. Previous generation had the big spoiler in the way. I think Honda heard the outcry of every window tinter and then actually felt some sympathy because they completely deleted it. I don't know why. But they made our life easier. I'm not going to complain. So, we have a back window on a dryer sheet. This has been plotted. I'm just going to shrink this in quarters now. It's going to be a very straightforward shrink. Now, for the wiper, you could remove it. But it's a little bit more annoying for me personally. When they're new, they're easy, whatever, but then I gotta go find my socket, and at that point, by the time I've removed it, I've shrunk around it. See? This is already good to go. So, what you can do is wedge something underneath, or you can also use the extension cord of the heat gun and just hold it up in the same way. Half of a tennis ball, quarter squeegee, just a lot of things that can work. Do the exact same thing. And then for the little bottom part, feed a little extra out. Right like that. See? Easy peasy. And so by the time we've removed it and put it back on, we already treated it. We don't need to do it. If a back window is easy to get to on both sides, so I can stand here and just shrink the entirety of it, You don't have to section it off into quarters the same way. It doesn't hurt to. It also doesn't hurt to shrink like this. So it's just easy. Love hatchbacks. But we're gonna wait till the film is completely shrunk before pressing it down. It's gonna take a few seconds. Almost done, almost done. And got it. Cool. I'm gonna see what's going on with my chat. Something's not chatting. You think it's better to get a ceramic sunstrip or carbon? I don't think it matters. Wonder what's going on with this sound. Oh, it disconnected from my headphones. That's why. Seen mobile tinted cut patterns with scissors? You know, there's a whole bunch of ways that you can cut out patterns. We like to do things with knives. Maybe it's just we like to feel cooler than we are. Scissors definitely work. They're just a bit weird. So they're not going to be ideal for everything. When I'm trying to get an exact cut, I can place the material where I want it, and I can get an exact cut there. Scissors are a little bit harder to get it exactly where you want it, but you could absolutely draw a Sharpie. Like, so if I want to do my doors, I could draw with a Sharpie line. And then take a pair of scissors and just cut outside that line. Still gonna need a knife for the top edge, so it's not perfect, but pretty darn good. I like this cutter. Snitty. It works like a pair of scissors, but it's a letter opener. But I like that. I always like options and variety because there's some people that are obviously using scissors. But I like different perspectives and like options and stuff. It's the crazy thing about tint. It's like you'd think it'd be very straightforward and people would largely do it the exact same way. You could have a room of 100 tinters. They're all going to be tinting a completely different way. Similarities, but you get what I mean. How bad is rock rose? I don't have anything good to say about it. That's how bad. I saw it turn a rose color in my group. Somebody posted a picture. 3 months later, it turned rosy color. Window films are one of the most easily like duped type of thing. You can have somebody have a box that says XPEL on it that is not XPEL. It's a big ripped off thing, and window films out of the box, you pull a little swatch off of it, you look at it and you're like, man, that looks like this other film. It's gotta all be the same. They're not. But customers largely don't know much about window film other than what they, see online. And a lot of installers gravitate towards one or the other. There's way less people that have a well-rounded variety of like, hey, yeah, I tried samples from 3 different companies. There needs to be more of that. If you're like, hey, should I pick up this brand? I don't know. Pick it up, try them, compare them to what you're using, get a couple. I think it's well worth it. And then you're better informed. You know what competitors are potentially installing. You know how it compares. Like, one of the best things that I did was go to Walmart, buy Black Magic, and make a video with it. I didn't realize how bad ceramic could actually get. You just take a lot of things for granted. And you're just like, Jesus Christ. Like, it was looking really good until the end of the video. And I pulled the car outside. It was hazy as shit. Okay, so we're gonna install this. I'm gonna spray this. I got some gel. We're gonna hit some of the higher portions. This is an upside down back window now. I don't want any water trailing out of the top. And we got our pattern right here all ready to go. Should have it on a bigger window, but here we are. I need to get on that rolling glass board train. I have a frame, I just gotta get the glass and finish it. So we're gonna peel this. Not really like it's all rounded. It's not really like a great edge to peel it from. Doesn't help that it's overlapping my frame. Okay, we're gonna grab it from this edge because this is the one that's facing the sky. I'm gonna use gravity to kind of help. And get past these plastic bits, and it should just cling to the window. See? And if our pattern's cut right, it's probably a little wider than it should be. It's not gonna hurt it. Just see that plastic edge? There we go. Get it tucked in there. But if we got the margin for it, it's good. So with this squeegee, I'm getting out all the bubbles, but I still have a lot of water in there. So we're gonna mist it again. We're gonna use a little harder squeegee, and we're gonna push along the defroster lines, because you see this water that's getting pushed out. See that? All that water that's collecting there? That's sitting in between the film and the glass. Now, for a lot of you beginner tinners, hey, I didn't see speckles, and then the window dried out, because that moisture can hide little speckles, and imperfection, it fills it, and then when those dry out, you're left with air. But if it's nice and clean, you want it to dry out quickly, so then we don't have a lot of water pockets that the customer has to live with. A couple days to dry. Day in the summertime, up to a week in the wintertime. This is a Pros blade. It's Pros blade wax from Tri-Edge. It's not even the hardest one. It's a nice medium firmness. Okay, so now that we got that, wipe it off and we'll see. I'm looking for any fingers, any specks, any imperfections, things that might pop off at the edges I can touch up if it's a crease or a hair or something in the middle. The most you can do is push the air out and kind of mask it on the outside a little bit, but looks good. I didn't see anything. Hooray! Okay, now we got some quarter windows that we got to do. Should have a little water. What's the tips to prevent creases? Creases are film folding on itself. Could you press harder if you don't have a harder squeegee? Yeah, for sure. That definitely helps. If you have like a medium hardness squeegee, then you can press pretty hard. But if you have a very soft squeegee, just buy a harder squeegee. There we go. Got my package. Thanks for the stickers and the keychains. Sadly, can't fit the 2XL. Aw. Well, I'm glad you got it. Hang it on your wall or something. Give it away. I'll keep that in mind. We gotta put some on the site. I don't know why I'm obsessed with car tinting, but here we are. Dude, I still watch so many unrelated things to what I'm doing. Just interesting stuff. Cameras are still a fun thing to watch. I'm not looking to buy another camera anytime soon, but anytime a new one comes out that's like a little different or interesting, dude, I'm binge watching the crap out of it. Oh, where did it go? What? What? Oh, don't do that to me. I had it set up. Shut up. I knew it. I saw it. Poof. Have you ever done that? Have you ever, like, lost something that you were literally holding? I knew I saw it. I had it. And then I had it's got to be a brain problem, like a flash. And then, I got, like, MIB'd. Little quarter pro squeegee here. Reach in there. Look how teeny tiny that window is. Have you ever had a customer say you broke their car 2 weeks after you tinted it? I've definitely had and worked for places that have had customers like that. You got to take an honest look at it and, like, is that within the realm of something that could have happened? Two weeks is kind of a stretch, though. It's like any immediate things you should notice. If there was like a scratch on a window, obviously they might not notice that till a couple weeks later, and that's something that's definitely within like your realm. But it's really unfortunate that kind of stuff can happen. I had a crazy customer that I was in Hazel Park at a pretty run-down glass shop. I was there for the day. Had a Yukon pull-in, 4 doors, nothing else. So front doors, rear doors. went to turn off the lights. The switch for that fell almost like completely into the dashboard. I fished it out. The car was making all types of noises when I'm pulling it in. Like the whole thing just sounds like it's just beat to shit and falling apart. And then after I tinted it, they pulled it out of the parking lot, literally did a loop, came back in, and were like, "You broke my car." I was like, "Excuse me?" And then the owner of that shop, he's like, "Yeah, we get this all the time. You can go. Don't worry about it. Car's a piece of shit." And then they handled it. You always can have somebody blame you for stuff that you didn't do. But there are genuinely things that people aren't going to notice until after you return the car, and then they gave it to somebody, and what might have been a perfect thing in their head all of a sudden is now imperfect. It's just par for the course with retail. You have to put up systems for the handful of crazy people that you might get. So like pictures before the car even gets like touched or pulled in is always a good thing to do. Tedious, especially like, oh man, it's cold, it's snowing outside, it's raining. It's like you want to try and cover everything that you can, all your bases, so that it's not even a question. So I have like security cameras on each side of the car. So everything is just getting recorded here at all times. But it's even better to have some like close up, higher quality pictures of a car before you pull it in. Then if somebody's like, "Oh, there's a little scratch on my fender. You had my car last." Then you can like actually reference some pictures and video, or just a video. Like I say pictures, just take a video. Walk around a car. It's always good. My cameras record for 2 weeks and it's been longer than that. I know, after that there shouldn't be any problems. I had one, the guy had like a fingernail imprint in a door. I could probably look at every single door panel on every single car and point out one little spot that like, that could be a potential imperfection. And this was on a Volvo, on like the passenger door. Like if you take your fingernail and you do this to your skin and you see a little indent, that was down here. And he was like, "That wasn't there before." I'm like, "What?" Okay, so on this windshield, we are scrubbing it off. We are going to be putting Glass 8 on this too. We plotter cut everything else. We're not going to plotter cut the windshield. There's too many varieties of windshields. It might work out fine. I'd have a lot of confidence in a brand new Civic windshield on a plotter. But you know what? I just don't. Too many windshields that bit me in the butt. But to put this tape on, I squeegeed the windshield off. Instead of wiping it off with a towel. Towel leaves smears behind. So if it's perfectly dry and grease free, this stuff is going to stick great. Do you use core? I do. Make it one easy edit, click down at the bottom, and it's a great fit. Is it short otherwise? That sucks. Or is it just like a little better if it's longer? That's the most frustrating thing about plotted patterns. It's like you never know exactly how you're gonna fit until you put it on the glass install. And with a windshield, there's just so much in the way. Because it's hard to line up a windshield perfectly before you install it. You can get it close, but you're not quite sure if it's like, I probably got a little slack over there or something. Where's the Libman? I put it down somewhere, I don't know. It's around here. We have a couple. But I wasted more time than I'd like on getting the stream started today. So if I don't find it and I got a good alternative today, I'm using it. Those are one of our most misplaced things. Oh my God, is this like clipping like crazy today? Is that what's going on?
Let me see you drop that real quick and we'll get to that part.
Yeah, well, we'll still.
Wow.
So we'll still have.
Holy. Okay, hang on.
I'll lay this real quick.
Don't I have a window for this that I can see? Clips.
I just want to make sure you're
Clips.
getting what you want before you take stuff.
Oh my God.
Sound good.
I might regret this, and we're gonna see today.
So, I already razor bladed this off.
Oops. No, we want this window. Okay, sorry. Have you ever burned seals when heating two-stage creases out? Did that yesterday? Yes, of course. Get something and hold it in front of here. So you heat gun here, something blocking the heat from going over. That's the best thing that you can do.
Just like everything else, you just want to coat it with soapy water. So you just poke out your
But another thing that I'll do is I'll feather the heat. The heat will kind of sit and absorb on the glass, and it takes a little while for it to heat up. So I'll just kind of like feather the heat so it doesn't get the plastic as hot for very long. And so you don't put any glossy spots on that if you don't end up, covering it up. What's the beeping? Oh, it's the Maxima. It's the notification that the door is open. That sucks, though. I've definitely done that more than I like to admit. Is that why you posted a short the other day? Because it clipped it for you? Yep. Okay, so that's going to dry on the windshield. We got to put a towel there. We're getting some things together. I made a auto clipping program. So I have a program running that's watching, it's watching the stream. And then I'm going to see how smart it actually was after. So it's probably posting a lot of clips that I wouldn't necessarily post. But it's automatically posting anything that might seem good to have on the channels. Automatically clipping and posting Facebook, Instagram, TikTok and YouTube all together. Something that I would love to do after the fact and just never do. So why not while we're live? Let's go. See what happens.
Do you know which tools it is that you wanted, or did you want
There we go. That's all tucked in. Nice, ready to go. We'll probably leave the mirror installed. Let's go grab a roll of film.
Is this the same thing?
Great software. Keep it. Cool. It's crazy. So I got to decide if I want to talk about that or if I want to talk about shrinking a windshield right now. Okay, we're going to shrink this windshield. First thing that we need to do is get a big piece of film on it. So we're using a 36 by 100-foot roll. And I'm just going to unroll it across. We want to make sure both edges are overlapped, so I'm going to give myself a little bit more slack on the sides because it's harder to tell if you're completely over there. Okay, put that away. Now we're going to just kind of shift this around. I'm looking for the top corners to be really close to those top corners. Just a nice place to know that the windshield is kind of squared off. Then we're going to grab our shrinking card and I'm going to tack it right in the center. We're going to just make sure everything is covered on the window. There's going to be fingers on the side that we need to direct. But let's start with a 50-50 split here. And then we're going to take a safety cutter. This is called the Snitty. It's basically a fancy letter opener. And I just ride it against the molding on the side and trim it off. It's quicker and a little bit safer than dragging a knife around. Don't drag a knife just on the glass. But it's like being able to drag a blade, but you just kind of zip it off. Throw those away. And then now I'm going to pull a little bit tighter on the film, flatten it, and then we're going to push this side down. See these side fingers? Card that. So that's going to direct all your fingers on the side up and down. We can only shrink out the top and the bottom. Just the very edge though. And now we have it sectioned off into quarters. So we can go find our heat gun. Boopity-boo. And so now we're going to start shrinking. First step, turn on the heat gun on high. Point it in a 45-degree angle towards where you're shrinking. Now there's warm air going towards it. It's going to be hot once I get it closer. So how much heat do I need? I just got to move the heat gun closer until I start seeing the film react. As soon as it starts reacting, that's shrinking. How much do I need to shrink? It's just dependent on the patterns. You're always looking for the exact same pattern every time. Every window that you shrink. People think it's just about applying heat to the window and pushing it down. I'm just waiting for this pattern to show. See how it's nice and sunk down to the window, and I have just these little ripples? That looks perfect. It's exactly what I want to see. I'm going to let that cool down and move to the top. We're installing Apex. Apex is a little bit more susceptible to pick up little dimpling from the dryer sheet. It's a multi-layer ceramic film, so we're going to baby it a little bit more. So I'm going to do the exact same thing up here, but then I'm going to start carting it down here where we just shrunk it, because then it cooled, it's not going to get those impressions. Then we can continue to shrink. Why a 45-degree angle? It's just something easy to wrap your head around. You want to point the direct heat gun in the direction that you're shrinking, but I'm going to see people that literally keep it like parallel, or people that point it directly at it. If you point it directly at it, it's a lot of heat for it to take in one central spot. If you're at a 45 in the direction, you're heating the entire area that you're moving into. So it's going to shrink a little past, warm up the film. So keep in mind, these are not hard rules. They're good recommendations for people that have no idea what they're doing. If you do something a little bit different, that's cool. If you go 90, you know how to treat your heat gun and where to hold it. If I give it to a brand new person, they're gonna fry the film so fast. There we go. We're gonna continue just shrinking that. Right towards the ends. So really like the last 4 inches. I'm going to get the heat gun quite a bit closer. Again, same thing. I'm looking for that shrinking pattern, and you don't see much of a reaction from the film when it's this far out. So when it was here, there was less film that needed to be shrunk. It then shrinks with less heat. And then as you move farther and farther out the ends, there's more film that has collected together. Sharper of a curve. You just need to increase the heat a little bit. Here we go. We're almost done there. I'm gonna go a little bit past the line. Push this stuff down. Again, we're gonna shrink a little past that line, tighten that up. See, that very end is where I got the heat gun so close. But only for a split second or two. 40% going on the windshield. Have you ever thought about attending a tinner battles or competing? Yeah, I love doing competitions. Competitions are fun. But they like to put them as far away from me as possible. So it's harder to make it out now. Same pattern. Same pattern. See, we get those ripples. If I got the heat gun really close, I'm moving really fast. You can go at whatever pace that you want. You're always looking for the same pattern. So there'll be guys that use a card in tandem with the heat gun, so as they heat, they're already carding it down. That's perfectly fine. I just want to always get the point across that we're looking for this. If it looks glassy with little ripples in it, it's perfect. Don't shrink it anymore. You don't need to. It just needs to be stretched out the windshield. And stretching it isn't stretching it in any way that's going to make it lay flatter on the inside. It's just going to show us what we need to shrink next is all. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Spend an hour shrinking it and it's all just creases. We teach classes here. That's what she's going through right now. We have 3-day and single-day classes. They're a great thing to attend if you're having those types of problems. But we spend a lot of time with people in the 3-day classes specifically on shrinking. We'll spend all day just piece after piece after piece. So an hour isn't really a lot of time. But there's just these little rules to point out over and over again. People don't heat up the film enough, or then they way over shrink it. It's just looking for this ripply pattern, and if you don't see it, do not try and card the film down. A lot of people will start out very strong, so they'll start shrinking it nicely here, and then they'll use that same speed and that same heat, and they'll move here, and they'll start creasing the film and wonder what happened. No, when the tint is creased, it's fucked. It needs to be thrown out. The good news is if you crease film while you're practicing, just keep going. Just do the best you can with that piece. And then throw another piece on and practice again. Window tint is extremely unforgiving. Dirt specks bury themselves in the glue. Creases happen just from handling it funny, putting little bends in it. Tint is very rigid and very unforgiving. That's one reason it's a valuable skill. If it was super easy and everybody could do it very quickly, it wouldn't be worth shit and we wouldn't be here right now. I got wrinkles after installing on the inside. Can I get it out? It's either a crease or you just didn't spread out the film. You push harder with a squeegee. At this point, no. At this point, it's cooked. Alright, I'm going to trim this windshield out. I'm cutting just in the middle of the glassade tape line. This keeps the blade off the window. It's nice to be able to see some type of guide. It makes cutting a little bit more efficient. But it also took us time to place on the window. So I'd say that's a pretty neutral trade-off there. You could take a light and cut out faster without putting any tape on there in most cases, especially with a light film. But for me, the biggest thing about the tape has always been protecting the window. Little scratch line, even with the stainless blade, snap it off, brand new box, doesn't matter. You just randomly can have a little micro scratch in the glass that, you know, customer notices in the right lighting. Car's all clean, you're very proud of it, pull it outside, and then you see that line and you're like, what the shit? That's what the tape's for. I'd be afraid of cracking the windshield with too much heat. When glass breakage kind of seems like, man, couldn't you just like look at it funny and then it shatters? Honestly, no. Glass is incredibly strong. Get a window and try and break it, and you'll see how strong glass really is. When you finally get a chip or crack, or if it's tempered, you know, the right punch and then it shatters, it seems like, oh wow. Tape is better because you don't have to use a light. I don't. It's nice. I still use a light on the outside though. If the film's darker, so like a 5%, I still have a light on the outside and I'm brightening up that line so I can see it a little bit better, because it's hard to see with a 5% over it. There's reflections, there's dryer sheet, there's other stuff. It's like, you know, when you're cutting all the way over here and you're trying to see that curve, I brighten it up so I know exactly where that cut is. But the main reason I have it is to keep the glass safe. I've tried all types of blades. With this extremely light pressure. I was tinting for a glass company. And so they had a lot of spare windshields that I could just scratch and cut on all day. They're just pulling them off of cars all day. And so I would take a variety of different stainless blades. And then I would cut very lightly. And more often than not, if you clean off the window really well and you look close, you will almost always see a very slight line in the glass. Some windshields, they just scratch easier than others. And that's when I started experimenting with different things to act as a barrier in between the blade and the glass. Because I was mobile. I was going from shop to shop. I didn't want to lose any efficiency, but I didn't want some random scratch line to show up. So it's been my favorite solution by far. It's really good stuff. But there's a few other ways that you can keep a windshield safe. If you Sharpie cut it, that works. That's a pretty good thing to do. So you can trace it out, put it on a board, and then trim it. You can put a bread clip or a piece of plastic in the way. So if I was trying to trim this out, I can sneak like a little piece of plastic. Here, let's lift this. Little piece of plastic under the film, put your knife, and then you can kind of trail around. So you could cut like the shirt button or a little piece of plastic, dig it in there, and then you trail that around, and then your blade is no longer touching the window. So there are quite a few small things that you can do that'll keep everything safe without having to put special tape on the windshield. All right, we are going to clean off the inside, which is super boring. I just have a scraper. I'm going to scrape around it. I'm surprised how much I've grown to like the Quarter Pro set. What tint do you have on your car? I do Apex. It's the same type of film we're putting on this car right now. GeoShield Apex. And I set it up a little bit more for customers than myself. My favorite look was 35 on a windshield, 20 or 15 on the front doors, and then like 5 on the back. That was a really nice setup. Windshield never felt too dark. I'd always just hold the windshield or the steering wheel a little bit tighter when I'm passing a cop. How do I get faster? It took me 1.5 hours to do a set of doors. It's just reps. Set a timer for yourself and go through reps. And really take a video of yourself and just, you'll see a little bit more where you waste extra time. Some people clean, honestly, too much. They'll like scrub, scrape, squeegee, and they'll do that like 4 or 5 times. They're like obsessive about cleaning. Cleaning matters, obviously. You want to be thorough. But on a door window, you can scrape it really fast, sweep it off, quickly sweep it off one more time for good measure, and that sucker's ready to install. Holding the steering wheel tight makes the tint lighter, my guy. That's comment of the day right there. I love shit like that. It probably did. Hard to scientifically prove. I blade every door window and every windshield. Windshields for sure, because of really dumb small things. Most of the time, there is a little oil change sticker, something, some residue up here. But I cannot tell you how many times there's like a little crusty here, there was a patch here, there was some obscure sticker that was like just removed enough so you couldn't see any residue very easily. And then I just half-ass clean the window. And then I tint it, and then there's a patch that could have easily been preventable. That's the worst. So now I'm like, I take a little razor blade and I obsessively get every little square inch of it. When I used to just like scrubby pat it and sweep it off, and it's ready to go. Sneeze residue. Dude, on F-150s, it wasn't on the driver's side, it was on the passenger side of the mirror mount. On multiple, there was like some sort of manufacturing crusty shit there. I saw it on a handful of F-150s. Didn't plan for that. It's a spot I could easily just like, nothing's there. Or down in these hard to reach areas that you're just like, you hit light with a razor blade and you just don't feel it. That's the worst. Yeah, sneeze residue. Tint likes to humble you so fast, though. It's like, so when you feel like you're on your A game and you're going good and like, yeah, I got an easy car, this is a great day, that car will just fuck you up. Why is it faded? We're going for that sick fade, bro. Color films? No. I have an answer for people that want something though. So if anybody's like, "Hey, do you have chameleon film?" I'm just gonna send them a link to Ultravision and say, "Let me know which one you want." It's gonna be $500 in most cases because their films are absurdly expensive. It's just for a windshield, not the whole car. That's the one I'm gonna use, if anybody, for now. I still don't, am not like 100% confident. Chameleon films are just not very well supported.
So,
Like the latest, the actual hardcore events you'll barely see anymore. Same with
so
So I had a customer that wanted a chameleon film on their windshield,
what do you think about that? Like turn car down?
and they had a specific look that they were going for. I sent them a link to a website, and I was like, "This is the only one that I know of to be okay, that I could like actually say is probably safe to put on your car." But if you want to buy a roll and bring it in, I'll install it. $200 to install it, and they spent $300 on the roll of film, just enough to do their windshield. I was like, "Oh shit!" Fucking crazy. Stuff is so expensive. I have Geo ceramic on my front and rock rose on the back to show the customers the difference between color and clarity. That's amazing.
I'm the only one that carry cash anyway.
That's so good.
Cash is like,
Because then you're like, this is what other shops could be installing on your car. These are the films that I install, so
helps me budget.
it's such a good comparison. I love that. It's in real world, like, oh shit, really? Yeah, I'll go with that one. That one looks way better. What do you do for inspection stickers? I don't do anything for inspection stickers. We don't have them.
You learned a lot.
I did, my favorite thing. But, I would have been, I would have tried to do one, personally, so,
All right, now we're gonna roll this up. You're gonna install it. All right, so to reverse roll this, we're rolling it up. So that means we're rolling the whole thing up like a poster. I'm twisting it to just tighten it up a little bit more. I'm gonna find this liner here. There it is. So this liner is here, clung to the roll now, and as I unroll it, the liner just sticks to the back side. It's magic. I'm gonna rinse it off. But the liner has already been loosened up. And now we're gonna unroll it inside the car. A few things help a lot. The tighter the roll is, the more structure you have and the easier it is to get lower on the window. And then the closer you can get it into position, the easier it's gonna unroll. So at least get it over all anchored on the left side. Why do people reverse roll so tight? I'd honestly like to see how you're doing it loose. A tighter roll for me, see that down there? See how that is able to kind of sneak into a tighter spot? I've tried loose and it just hasn't gone so well. I'm getting so many clip notifications. Let's go. That's awesome. That is the point. So hopefully we have some stuff that'll all get farted onto the channel. And then we'll see what sticks. Just rapid fire. And it might serve as a better notification in general. Make sure we're all lined up. I think we're pretty good. This one? No. This one. This is what I need. So now we're gonna just start smoothing the film out. It's gonna help push a lot of the air out, but more importantly, just evenly fan out the film. So when we go to squeegee it, we don't have any big air pockets and small areas that get tacked up, and then all of a sudden you just have a bunch of trash or a bunch of air that gets smeared. Like that. We gotta find our squeegee. There it is. We're gonna miss the windshield. And so this big ripple, it's all the extra water that we're pushing out. I'm just gonna go overlapping passes and push harder. It's gonna make it dry out so much quicker. It's a big felt card or just a soft squeegee. It's a what the fuck? What's it called? I'm trying to remember what it's actually called. It's like a mudding spatula or something like that. We have squeegee buffer over the end, like a suede buffer on this one. It's really thin, so it's good for reaching down behind brake lights and lower areas. Start from the middle, yes. So just like we shrunk the windshield, we need to squeegee it out in a similar way. We want to make sure it evenly fans out across the windshield, that there's no bunching, like glassing vinyl, or if you're trying to take a bed sheet, fit it over a mattress, right? You're like pulling it tight. but we can't just yank it from the side. We have to kind of spread it out. How much flex? Oh, this is super flexible. It's just very soft. I'm not even hardly putting any pressure. I just match it up on there and it just... Sound effects included. But in our classes, we noticed a lot of people that didn't understand squeegeeing from the middle out. Like in Silicon Valley. So you don't want to trap air anywhere. It's a pressure sensitive adhesive. So when the film is just kind of relaxed on the window, you see all these big air pockets. And then if you just squeegee through that, you'll have these big air pockets that feed back over where you just squeegeed. So that middle part is somewhat dry. And then you have air that just went over it. So that means when you squeegee it down again, that's not going to squeegee super clear all the time. That's going to smear air and get it to stick in the adhesive. Water, soapy water is your best friend with squeegeeing because you're using the water to help smooth out the film and get all the air out. The water eventually is going to dry. Air is always left behind. It never goes away. That's why creases suck, because they're full of air. Speckles suck because they raise the film and leave a bunch of air in there. So you see that. "4 o'clock, making pretty good time, actually." When you started, did you get tired fast? Mostly no. I was always pretty active. I was big into skateboarding. We always had to kind of stay outside. Did a handful of other active stuff. And when I got into tinting, I was already working at an auto shop, auto accessories, and so I was detailing cars. So if anything, tinting was a little bit easier than what I was typically doing. Detailing is way more physical than window tinting. Tinting's nice because it's clean. It's clean and it's not as much like, bending down and reaching lower areas and corners and stuff like that. A lot more is just at eye level, or depending on how tall you are. How legal is it to tint your front doors, or do you need a permit? Every state law is going to vary. So check your local state laws. Michigan is nothing on the front doors or the windshield except the top 4 inches, which literally means top 4 inches of that window. They don't specify shade, but you can have it, you can get a doctor's note, or you can put it on your license as a restriction. Sweet. It's looking really good. We got one finger we got to push out there, one finger up there. Wipe it off. I'll grab some more towels and it's ready to go. it's 4 o'clock. My cameras are cameraing. I'm gonna mute it for an hour. See, these are my cameras. Look, see, it's literally like it like zooms in. If it's looking at Daniel right now. It likes to follow people though. So if there's one person walking around, it'll just track people. Keep practicing. Yep, that's tinting. Tinting is a load of practice and then more practice. I just saw a hair there that I gotta touch up or take out. That's fun. Should be okay. But I'm not looking forward to it. How many cars do you usually get out of a roll? Anywhere between like 8 or 9 cars. If I take a week vacation, I forget how to hold the squeegee. Really? So funny how, like, it looked like a little water. I didn't even notice it until I was cleaning it off. Hard to see. A little squiggle. A little squiggle guy right here. See that? So, we need to get that out. I'm gonna make sure that the edges are squeegeed. Just make sure that they're nice and clean, because we're gonna be pulling this back. I wanna make sure I know where that is. Right here. But we'll see. So, if you have something to touch up, you need to do it very fast. Because adhesive starts grabbing the window. But the good news is that this is a bigger hair. So it's much easier overall to brush out. And I got some gel. So we're gonna put this back on the windshield and we're gonna check it. I've always had a very difficult time trying to do that with a door window. So keep that in mind. Door windows are almost like never worth saving. Windshields though, the nice thing about them is that you clean the edges like super thoroughly. And so when you pull the film back, you're way less likely to get anything back into it. The adhesive isn't the problem. The adhesive is always fine. The problem is stuff you might drag back in when you peel it back. You don't want to pull a bunch of speckles into it. So when you reach in, you have to be really careful about the edges. And as I'm going back over it, I'm watching each pass really closely. I'm doing kind of like a lighter squeegee and then pushing a little bit harder the second time just to make sure that I haven't like done anything. But the bigger the hair that you're trying to remove, you can feel it. And then it's a lot easier to brush off the adhesive. It's not necessarily buried. The real difficult ones are the very small micro dust speck hairs. Those are so much harder to feel, so much harder to remove. And you also got to consider where in the windshield it is. So if it's all the way down here, I got to pull all this film back. I got to try and reach. It's generally just like completely done. But if it's up a little higher, anywhere up here, anywhere here, it's a lot easier to just reach. Not as much film needs to be removed. Wow. These are on the outside, by the way. These are little bugs. But we actually removed it completely. Hell yeah, I'll take that. Good. We are wrapping up. What happened if you crack the fold? Okay, I don't know quite what you mean by that, but if you introduce a crease, you pull more shit into it, you damage the film, or it probably meant crease, like pull a crease into it, it's done. It's like if you have a second chance, right? You know that's like with that hair, that's a reason to redo the entire thing. So I know I'm gonna redo it if I can't get rid of it. So it's worth peeling back and trying to save it. And if you do a good job, you do a good job. If you don't do a good job, that sucks. We're redoing it anyways. Windshields are the worst, though. Where did that little thing come from? Gets me. I have no idea. Any part of the process can introduce an imperfection. You can be super careful, super thorough. We've done windshields the exact same way dozens of times. So on average, they're great. Every once in a while, you get a miscellaneous floaty of something that just drifted into it. That's tinting. Super fun. Do you reverse roll the hatchbacks? No. Just the windshields. That goes for basically any car. But the earlier you learn reverse rolling, the more likely you are to do it on every back window and every windshield. I just can't stand brake lights and trying to reverse roll when there's even less space than a windshield. So with a windshield, it's more upright. There's less things that are in the way. they're not easy. But a back window is a little bit more tucked away and sealed off by the seats. So like some of them give you enough space to work with. And some of them just don't. Uh, 35 on the windshield. $15 on the rest of it. Good class today?
Yep.
Good.
Yep, don't forget the last week of August, I'll be away.
Last week of August. Okay.
See ya.
See ya. Thank you.
Hey, Daniel.
Yeah.
You made it look easy. For tinting, this isn't the hardest car. This is going to be a really straightforward car. But I would hope so. I've been tinting since 2008. Doing the same thing almost every day. You'd hope at some point you'd make it look easy. So, there's hope. Window tinting didn't come naturally to me. It was a pain in the butt. I made so many mistakes. I wasted so much film. I still scrap stuff. That's just part of the job. You get better and better. Yeah, 35 is like 35 is really nice on a windshield. It's dark enough to give you like to make the windshield look dark. You still can see in some, but more like most times a day. So at night it looks especially dark, but it never feels too dark to drive with. I really like 35 on a windshield. All right, dudes. Got to put the mirror back there just to cover. Take these covers out. How long did it take you to get good? I've been doing it for so long, it's a little fuzzy, but I felt more competent after the first year, like a full year of doing it. But it wasn't like, oh, it became a year and then it was easy. And then, dude, time fucking goes. I didn't learn reverse rolling until I was at least 7 years into tinting. Nobody around me did it. Wasn't really talked about. There wasn't much on helpful communities. So you either knew somebody that did it, or you hope somebody would just share a little information. But so much of this was like, oh, I heard somebody does it this way. Or somebody yells at you in a forum group and just says, you're an idiot. You should be doing it this way. Well, do you want to show? No, I'm not going to teach my competition. Fuck off. All right. Have a good day. I was taught I learned snap shrinking from somebody that learned from another shop. He had only been tinting for a year. And so I've got so many videos of shrinking individual fingers on door windows. And then somebody came in, we were trying them out, we had them tint a car, He shrunk some doors. And I was like, what the fuck did you just do? And he's like, what? I just snapped them. Isn't that what you do? I was like, show me that. That was cool. I still take that same type of mentality. Whenever somebody tints, always just pay attention to anything unique they might do. So many people have a little like trick up their sleeve that you never considered. That'll just like change your life. You're like, I never thought of that. That's super cool. I'm gonna steal that. Thank you. All right. Cool. Just clip this on here, and that will be that. Oh shit, I should have put this on first. I never thought about strapping 10 cameras to myself while tinting until I saw Matt. So true. I'm always like, more. We should be open to trying new things. Ego only slows you down. That's so true. So true. I'm constantly surprised by the amount of people that are just like completely walled off from any type of extra info. If it's not the way they do it, fuck off. Alrighty, dudes. Thank you so much for hanging out. I don't have a lot of time.